how to pronounce that name, but Soy6216, how are we doing tonight? Let's see here. Notes for the class. Oh, there we go. I just realized that it was not playing the actual... Oh, that one looks different. Ah, there we go. Fixed it. Oh, okay. Select global key company. Global key company. Select search the entire database. That's not supposed to do that. There we go. That's what it's supposed to do. Oh. Alright. Set up my hotkeys to do that. Well, that's on me. Okay, there we go. Select search the entire database. And then from there, I guess that's step 2. Now step 3. So we want the global company key, company name, SIC, mission code classifications, followed by market value, total fiscal, and so I'm assuming it's net income. Yeah, it is net income, but where is... Net income loss, which I don't know if that's... Okay, so we got the global company key, company name, SIC, so standard industry classification, market valuation, then I can loss, then I guess. We'll go with that one because I think that's what I need to use. Total stockholder equity. Alright. Okay. Conditional statement. That's not step 4, so I'm still in step 3 somewhere. Equals 28. Dang it. Did it again. So 2834. Step 4, choose Excel file. Now submit form. Was a success. Submit form, and then we'll start download the Excel file. Let's see here. So download, yep, download Excel output, perfect. Now open that. I gotta name it something so I actually remember it. Enable editing, thank you. name it the same thing. Yep, there we go. Assignment number 1, value, reference, relevance of accounting. So that's going to be the name of it, just to make life easy. Alright. Next step. Create a pivot table. Click on top left corner, click insert. I moved it to the other side of my screen to make life easier for myself. Okay. Now, let's see here. So next step is to create a pivot table. Go top left corner, click on insert. Now, create pivot table. Okay. So I'm just gonna press in a new worksheet. Okay, cool. Rows is going to be data year fiscal. Oh, no. Global company key. That's going to be columns. Nope, that's backwards. Okay. So rows equals global company key. Okay. And columns. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Equal data year fiscal. Perfect. Then you select each variable separately. Do not select them all at the same time. So values. I'm a little bit concerned about that step. If I'm actually doing that correctly for this assignment, I don't know. Okay, so then you select each variable separate. So values, market values. Okay, market values, good. Can I? Just gonna leave that. Okay. Net income. Okay. And stockholder equity. Oh, whoops. Might as well open it that way. Alright. Example, please. Oh, wait. Sorry. That's what's up, Robert. The C is gonna be long standing. Though this quarter is weird and the program's a bit odd, where I don't have exams so far, so everything's just homework and projects. So there's no midterm, there's no final, and I don't know if that's a good or bad thing overall. It definitely means that the grade should be easier to come by, but it's still weird that I'm in a master's program for graduate school and there's no exams so far. Alright, let's see here. So sum of market values, total fiscal. Okay, so I'm doing it right so far. So now copy and paste the special values into a separate worksheet. see. Let's see where we're going here now. Row labels. It's followed by the market values. $19.99. Of 2000. $2019. And 2020. And then net income of 2000 and then 2020. Okay. Did it again. I keep accidentally hitting the wrong button because I have all my hotkeys attached to my numpad on my keyboard. So I keep changing the scene. Sorry about that, chat. Alright. Back to what we were doing. Okay, so net income for 2000. And then net income for 2020. There we go. Out of habit, I like using the numpad more. Dang it. Sorry, chat. I think I should just lock the numpad and not have to deal with that. Alright, numpad's locked so that way. Okay. Everything's fine. And then the last one is stockholders' equity of 2000 and then 2020. Copy that one. And stockholders' equity. That one. Alright, that didn't work. Let's redo that. Okay. Stockholder equity of 2000. And then of 2020. Year of the pandemic. ourselves a time and a half, to say the least. Okay. Now here comes the tricky part. Okay. Now filter the data for no blanks. And select. I don't know if I did this correctly. I think I hit find all blanks, but I'm just watching Excel spaz out and spit out numbers. This might be a small bit of a problem. Oh no. Oh, this is a mistake. This is a mistake. No. Okay. Shoot. Shoot. How do I... I'll press escape to interrupt. Okay. Escape. Abort. Okay. That was a bad move. Okay. Different blanks. think I did this right. There's a step I'm missing. I'm not quite sure what it is. Okay. Copy and paste special values. Right, was a separate worksheet. Okay, and I did that. Okay, let me try it on this one then. Okay, that's what I was missing. It's only selecting the ones that have complete data sets. So let's do blanks, okay. And then from here, delete. Entire rows. Nope, okay, that's not it either. Great, I freaking broke it. I have broken my Excel. Great. Exactly what I wanted. Oh, okay. Just figured itself out. Okay. I got it. I got it. I got it. That was so annoying. Okay, so what I need to do for the financial analysis is delete all the blanks. So F5 in Excel, specials allows me to select blanks overall. And now I'm going to delete the entire row. Give that a second to think. Or a long minute to think. All right, get man. Okay. And now from here, I'm supposed to delete any scragglers. So anything that is not totally complete. So this total stockholder equity for 2020. That's deleting a lot of them. Yeah, stockholder equity, which is the last one. Excuse me. Well, let's see what happens. Zero 08530. I don't know if I trust this as much as I should. wifey wife. Oh, I have the same. Sum of stock or equity total. Okay, I might go with it for now, just because I think that's correct. I don't freaking know. Like, I am following it step by step because it's how the instructions are laid out, but got bags, bro. Get some sleep. You know, I'm not even gonna bother denying that for the fact that I know full well that, yeah, I have bags on my eyes. Have you had much success with YouTube so far? Honestly, not particularly. This is definitely a side project to everything else that I have going on, because I'm currently studying for my Master's of Accounting. I run a PC building business. I have a full-time job. I'm married. So, and I'm also trying to get back into shape. So YouTube, I was very consistent for about like four years there, and then this past year everything's been so hectic. It's just been kind of on the wayside. So I'm doing like stuff like this to kind of get back into it. But yeah, no, I have not exactly made a whole lot from YouTube. I've made more from selling books, which, you know, helps, but still. All right, continuing on here. All right, now create the following variables. Regression 2000 along with, whoops, regression 2020. Hold up. there's several people who would know that nickname for her, and they would have had been in DECA or the marketing classroom during that year or 2 years there. So I don't know if this is like Cody or Selena or I got questions. All right, so let's see here. Market regression. Regression statistic. Okay. So it stops there at market value, net income, equity, and then we have value, earnings. Okay. I gotta do it for all of them. This is gonna get messy. Yeah, you got it. So, Cody? Professor's example, and let's show all these, make it a bit neater. Yes, but to confirm that, yeah, did get married to Allie. So she's been stuck with me for quite a while. I still think I'm doing this wrong. That's concerning. This one equals 1999. No. value 2,000 divided by 1999. Drag that down. How did I propose? Well, there was Officers Row, so over by Hudson's Bay, there is the Fort of Vancouver, and we had ended up finding a little like hidden gazebo kind of across from Pearson Airfield, which we would take a lot of walks to just because we could make that walk from her apartment that she was living at the time to like downtown, where there was one of our bubble tea spots where we got to know the owners. But that was just like our little easy excuse to walk past the area and kind of stop by and hang out and relax there. And so on our, let's see, was it 8 year? Yeah, it would have been the, sorry, accountant, now doing accountant. I am technically an accountant, and I say technically because I work for accounts payable in my company, but they don't have that as the term. It's called an administrative technician, just because I do a lot of different things for admin and HR. Anyways, for proposal, what ended up happening was I had planned it out where I was going to have our friends from California, a friend from Oregon, all come up, and they were going to help me out with the proposal itself, because what we were going to do was deck out the gazebo with like Christmas lights, with a photo wall, and because I have lights from content creation, I ended up using some of those. And the friend of ours that lives in LA, one of them is a sound engineer for film studios and people in Hollywood, and so we're like, okay, he has a camera, he has the lighting experience that he's going to help us out with, and he's going to actively, like, they were all going to come up, and I was going to take Allie on this like whole day long date. We were going to go out and do a whole bunch of things, and they were going to come and decorate the gazebo while I was taking Allie out for the day. And they broke down in the middle of California on their drive up, and so they had to get an Uber to finish the rest of the drive all the way up to Washington, and it ended up taking them a lot longer, so they had to crash with some other friends in Oregon as well before all coming into my apartment that day. And I had laid out all the stuff they were going to need, so it was the photos, it was the twine to hang everything up, parachute cord and everything that we were going to use. And after taking Allie out on a date, they were setting everything up, so we got some test photos. And so as we are leaving the restaurant on the waterfront, I was like, you know what, I want to go for a walk. And it's getting dark by this point, and so she's very confused as to like, hey, like, what do you, that's a bit weird that you want to go on a walk now. Your favorite time is golden hour. And today she lets me know, hey, here's what I would have preferred, or not an Uber. It was, they took an Uber from the town they had broken down in to the next town over to get a rental car, and then they drove the rest of the way up. So that was, they did Uber, but it was like an hour or 2 hour Uber drive. So that still wasn't expensive Uber. But what ended up happening then was, because I love golden hour, Allie thought that I was going to propose a golden hour. And so when that time passed, she had thought to herself, okay, I guess it's just not happening today, because we've been talking about it for a little bit there. But then what ended up happening was, from the distance as I park and we're walking towards the gazebo, she sees it lit up like a Christmas tree. And I only used the white lights because I didn't want to have, a bunch of multicolored light bulbs everywhere. So just these white fairy lights and everything else. And she asked herself, who let our friend Joseph have access to the Christmas lights? Because if throughout college, Joseph, a friend of ours from LA, and his wife were obsessed with Christmas. And so they always had just Christmas lights everywhere in their apartment. And the funny part was, as he was helping set everything up, we knew that he was going to do a good job with it. And so he does have, like, I had some, like, the icicle ones where they're hanging down. He had wrapped them around the post, the gazebo and everything. And then as we get closer, Allie starts to realize, oh, oh, so I am getting proposed to tonight. And our friends at that point hidden in the bushes all around. So Joseph is in one bush with the camera, his wife is in another, and then our friend from Oregon is standing behind the gazebo, dressed in like dark green, also hiding in the bush, and then getting photos through the actual leaves and everything. And so I proposed to Ali right there. And oh yeah, it definitely seemed like a fire waiting to happen, but he brought a generator too, so that was kind of like his way of keeping everything in check. But then proposed to Ali there, and we laughed about it because, as she said, she didn't even get the words out of her mouth. It was just when I asked her if she'd marry me. And they got a whole bunch of photos of that, and we had some like behind the scenes of them as well, because there was also the lead up of, well, they had to set everything up, so they had to make sure the shot angle was going to be good. And so then we took a bunch of photos afterwards, just getting to take or see all the little photos on the backdrop, did a couple dips and a couple lifting her up in bridal carries, and then two of my siblings popped up out of nowhere and congratulated us as well. So it was overall, like, as Ali puts it, it was a lovely Hallmark proposal, because she thought I was going to propose at the restaurant we were at, because it was a fancy restaurant, but I was like, nah, that doesn't seem quite right. This can be better. And she didn't realize that our friends were going to be coming up from California, because the wife is also in a PhD doctorate program, and that's going to take her 10 years. And so when she's talking, she's like, oh yeah, I just have all this homework to do. And so she had no clue that anyone was going to be coming up to help out with this. And so I was surprised after that of getting the propose, getting all the photos of everyone, and then going out to Sherry's late at night, because we're like, okay, we all need to eat food, because I have not fed these three for doing all the work. They've been here all day, so I need to feed them food. And then Allie's starting to call people and tell them that she got engaged. And to this day, she will tell like some of the girls or some of her friends, like, oh yeah, no, here's how it went. And she's like, I think I'm setting the standard for like how it should go down, because we've heard horror stories afterwards of other people's proposals and engagements. And so for us, it's just funny thinking like, okay, Hallmark proposal went over very well. And so we have, thankfully, a bunch of photos and videos from that night. And Seattle traffic, yeah, I do not envy that. The next one is net income for the year 2000. So it's going to be net income for the variable 2000, so net income of 2000 divided by market value of 1999. Not that one. That one. I mean, also, if you're just listening in traffic, I do hope that the stream beats is at least entertaining enough to listen to as well. some BVE. Book value equity. Okay, that's what that means. That's what we're naming that. Divided by market value again. Are there any negatives in this example? Okay, there are. I'm not crazy. Good. Okay, let's see here. So we have market value of 2020 divided by market value of 2019. Okay. Divided by market value 2019. Okay. And yeah, it is one of my favorite stories to tell of the actual engagement itself and proposal. But yeah, no, we still currently live in the hometown. We originally had moved to Oregon after university for a little bit there because she graduated before I did and stayed around. She bopped back down to California for a bit there, but then with job offers, we both found ourselves back up in our hometown for, until the present day. Fiscal analysis. This one's called filter data. And wait, if you're up in Seattle, how'd you end up in Seattle? Because last thing I recall was military? There's a big question mark after that. Y range. Corps with Micah, and that I was in Seattle. I went here for some time when I had a job with the WSP. I'm assuming that's Washington State Patrol. Yeah, state patrol. I quit the job, went to the trades, and been living a much cozier life. Well, that's good to hear, man. Which trade did you end up going into then? I literally became that meme of getting to the trades and making very good quality of life thanks to the union. Yeah, that sounds about right. The job I'm currently at's a lumber company, and we have one team that's union and one team that's non-union. So the team that's non-union is, of course, all the people in the office. But because I help out with HR too, I just kind of think to myself every time I look through their contracts, I'm like, you know, the benefits here coming from a union family and knowing the full scope of it always sound so nice. And there are, I know, admin and office worker unions, but I'd have to definitely track some down in the area. But I also want to get a job with the actual state too, so I was like, it's nice though that you're able to land a nice union job. A lot of my colleagues undervalue the way of college education. Yeah, I mean, that I could definitely see that. It's like one of those nutrition that's a welder. All right, that's definitely a good trade and craft. I remember when I was working as a recruiter in the past, we had a huge demand for anyone that could weld like anything. So that's definitely good. Yeah, I did work as a recruiter for a stint there because I jumped around a lot after university because I graduated early, and then rather than going to graduate school right away, I jumped straight into working retail during the pandemic, which was a choice, but got a double promotion, and that's why I ended up moving back to our hometown because I was like, oh yeah, cool, I'm, you know, the assistant store manager for the largest packing facility on the West Coast for our company, which was interesting. But after like one of the worst ones I had experiences, I was like, had a great boss, when the boss changed, and then ended up having to work like extreme hours because the store was being renovated and the new store manager was mismanaging the funds in a way in which my full-time employees could only get part-time hours. Part-time were suddenly on call, and I had like people quitting left and right, and we just could not get anything straight. And I remember working like a 17-hour day from morning until like 11 o'clock at night, and morning opening was around like 5 or 6 a.m. I'm just thinking to myself, this is horrible. So I quit after that, and then I worked for a little bit for a laser manufacturing company as a production member, helping put together like little wafer fabs for the actual lasers. And then after that, jumped to recruiting for a couple months there, because I got a recommendation for it. But then me and the recruiter or the boss were like, yeah, I'd be better as like an in-house recruiter somewhere else, and so we ended up just choosing to use their services because it was a recruitment company to then put me where I am now, and I've been there for like the past almost 2.5 years. And we go work for the city and do an office job. That's honestly a good move because I'm aiming for something similar. I just applied for a couple of jobs for the county, and I keep trying to get jobs for the state as like an auditor, just because I'm like, you know, there's upward mobility here, which is definitely nice. Definitely helps with the whole wafer tech. Yeah, wafer tech. I was only there for about 6 months, which was definitely interesting because it was rotating shifts. So 1 week it was 4 days, 1 week it was 3 days, but 12-hour shifts. And because it was laser components, it was a case of, all right guys, we have to get into our little marshmallow scrubs, so head to toe suits that we had to go into the clean room as, so that way we could actively put together the components. And it was it was definitely interesting, but not someplace where listening to my older coworkers talk about, yeah, we don't want to be here the rest of our lives, but we're kind of grandfathered in, and the arthritis is kicking into our fingers. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to deal with that. So my younger brother worked for that company for about 3 or 4 years, but then he was able to move to shipping logistics, and now he works for one of the public companies for the county. I was working at SpaceX doing the clean rooms. I couldn't do that work. I'd see myself up. Yeah. We had a couple people that went from Enlight, which was the company that I was at, who moved to work at SpaceX and then came back after a while. And they're like, yeah, that was not it. Cool experience for them, but they're like, yeah, didn't want to have that be the rest of my life. Files. Oh, this is gonna suck. Yeah, it being very dystopian does not surprise me in the slightest. Yeah, man, just catching up with you too over here, but type boss want to raise? No, I'm definitely going to. That comes in April, and I'm like, I gotta get a little bit more money out of this. But glad to hear you're doing well too, man. Yeah, no, it really isn't. I'm currently in the midst of applying for a couple more jobs, but peace out and have a good night. Alright, chat. My wife is on the way home, which means I am going to kill the stream here so I can finish the last little bit of this research paper. So, thank you all for tuning in. Hope you all have a wonderful night, and if you guys are doing your own studying, hope you guys are staying focused and having a good time with it, but keeping everything simple. Have an amazing day, an amazing night, wherever you are in the world right now. And make sure you guys go out there and do great things. I'll catch y'all later.